Butch Stearns joins me now, and I guess we got to touch on Edelman. To me, it's just kind of like bonehead doing a bonehead thing.
It reminds me of 2011 when Gronk partied on stage after they lost to the Giants. I was actually at that party, and he caught so much guff. The season was over, but wasn't the smartest thing to do? To jump on a car in Beverly Hills the day after the story came out that you're having surgery on your knee and your shoulder because you played with that, all goodwill is sort of lessened now.
All right, you spent more time on that than I thought you would. Let's get into some of the meatier topics. We'll start with McDaniels, who I found it interesting he didn't get the Browns job. And if you believe the reporting out of the Canton Republic, it's because he really did want to break down any sort of foundation that the Browns organization has built in the last few years. And they were like, whoa, 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 we think we've done a few good things here, and we don't want you coming in with a clean sweep.
Well, here's my take on McDaniels. My first take is that good for the Patriots. He's coming back as their offensive coordinator, and that leads to Tom Brady, which we'll get to in a minute. I mean, it's got to be a good thing. My second point, though, Tom, is everybody said, oh, the Indianapolis thing is not going to hurt Josh. Really? Maybe we're seeing some of that now. Why are people so gun-shy to hire Josh McDaniels?
Case by case, I think. And, he's obviously talked to a bunch of different teams. I don't think anything changed with the Giants from year one to year two. This Brown situation was unique. The Panthers fell in love with Rule, the preacher. So, I don't know. We'll sort of see. I don't know that there's been a perfect fit for him. I thought that there were some good opportunities that he'd be a better candidate than Joe Judge in New York, but who's to say?
Well, Joe Judge gets a job and he doesn't, which if you had to lose somebody, if you're the Patriots, with all that's going on with Tom Brady, which gets us to that now, right? You'd want Josh McDaniels back, wouldn't you?
Brian Flores got the job and Josh McDaniels didn't last year, so it's a little bit of a track record. So McDaniels being back, how does it or does it not affect Tom Brady coming back? I don't know that it has that big a difference as to whether or not Tom Brady comes back to the Patriots for the 2020 season.
You have to believe that it's a good thing for the Patriots if you want Tom Brady back here because it's familiarity. It's who he knows.
Right? Can't hurt.
Right.
But I don't think it's going to say, Tom's going to say, oh, good, Josh is coming back, I'm coming back.
Let's play out the two scenarios.
All right.
Tom Brady is coming back. First thought. He announces he's coming back. They make a deal, and he's coming back.
It's just going to be as tenuous as it's been the last few years. I think it'll just be more and more tenuous the longer and longer it goes. Can they work through it? Sure. They've worked through it this long. They've been successful this long. You're going to have the same thing piling up next year with Josh McDaniels interviewing for the Browns job or wherever. So it's going to be more of the same, and they can handle it, but you feel like he wants a parting of the way just to be happier.
Well, if Brady is back, it makes it interesting whether he's back or not, but if he is back, this is the earliest that they've been eliminated since 2010. And if you go back to that year, that was the year they drafted Rob Gronkowski, Devin McCourty, Aaron Hernandez, and Brandon Spikes. And I bring that up because we remember they changed the whole offense with this and that. I don't know if a month does make a difference, Tom, but Belichick's got more time now to spend on the draft and spend on free agency, which he hasn't had for a long time now.
Do you think it matters to Bill? Do you think he wants an answer soon so that he can determine in his mind what they're going to do? Or is he resigned to the fact that even he may not know until March 17th?
Well, I don't think he liked the way Gronk strung them along last year, and I think that hamstrung them. He knows Brady's in a different category than anybody else. So now let's play the other scenario that if Brady does go somewhere else, oh my goodness. As much as we'd hate to see that, isn't that the greatest story for the NFL?
Oh, yeah, league-wide. It's fantastic. It'll make the 2020 season.
Pick a team that he would go to.
Well,
Pick a team.
I've been firm on the Chargers because I think the Chargers will throw any kind of money at a guy like that, anybody who they can market to get fannies in those seats in that brand new stadium in Los Angeles. And, oh, by the way, would you like me to call Antonio Brown? Would you like me to call Rob Gronkowski? Maybe the gang can get together and go play on the left coast. So I'm going with the Chargers.
Okay, what's juicy about that from a Patriots perspective is they're in the AFC. I'll give you a better one. And if I were him and I go somewhere, I'm going to Tennessee.
Oh, boy.
I've got Mike Vrabel as the coach. I've got the best running back in football. They've started to win some big games. I've got a decent defense, a good offensive line. All we need is the quarterback. I'm not sure Giselle is a big fan of Nashville and country music.
Nashville's awesome.
It can be. I survived a couple of days there. But if he goes to Tennessee, oh, my goodness. That game that they just lost would have been Brady and Vrabel against Belichick if the Patriots get there with who? Stidham as their quarterback? I mean, the storylines are so juicy. It's the best thing for the NFL if Brady leaves Foxborough.
I'm sad that we're not covering the Patriots in the playoffs because I enjoy doing that, and I loved going to the last 3 Super Bowls. But I didn't realize my biggest sadness would come from the fact that we got to talk about this for 2 months. I can't believe that until March 17th, we're just going to be hammering these same points home.
But you're a huge football fan like I am, and I think when you don't have a dog in the fight, watching these playoffs is different. It's not as fun, but it can be as fun. Like, look at the games we've had. Let's talk about the AFC. How about the Titans going into Baltimore and punching Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson and that whole story right in the you-know-wheres?
Yeah, and statistically, they got beaten. You look at the box score, and you would never think that the Titans beat the Ravens in that game. Lamar Jackson, the numbers he put up were ridiculous.
Yeah, but when you watch that game, they beat them old school way.
Yeah, they just pounded the ball throughout the entire game and won the game in pure strength. Derrick Henry, by the way, I was tweeting this out last night. Single postseason rushing record is John Riggins. He ran for 610 yards. Yeah. Going into just his third game of this postseason, he's already 7th all-time on that list. It's been remarkable what he's been able to do personally. Can he do it in the championship game on the road against the Chiefs? If you think about it, it's the recipe to beat the Chiefs. Keep the ball away from the offense.
Well, I think the Chiefs win now. I was predicting them to go to the Super Bowl anyway, but I think they win now because they got their scare. Craziest game I've ever seen in a long time, going down 24-0 and then coming back and winning that game. But that's what happens at Kansas City. That's what happened last year. They had a whole drought there, and now they got that scare. They'll be ready for Tennessee. They'll beat Tennessee.
So you have Kansas City going. Do you have Green Bay going in the all-time dream Super Bowl for the NFL in their 100th season? It's Super Bowl I revisited. Kansas City and Green Bay.
I told you this earlier. I'll tell you who's rooting even harder than football historians.
You can't say it.
State Farm
is
rooting harder to get both Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. I like San Francisco. I like it because I want to see Jimmy G in there. I'm not a big lover of Aaron Rodgers, like our producer Chad Amaral agrees. But and plus, Tom, Packers, Niners, you remember the 90s, such great playoff history. They haven't played in the playoffs, I believe, since 2012 when Colin Kaepernick beat the Packers to go to the, it was a division round playoff to go to the NFC Championship game. But I like the Niners. I really do. They look like the team to beat.
I think the Packers held serve today at home against the Seahawks team that I thought would play better. But the Packers going to San Francisco, I don't think stand as much of a chance. So I'm going to go, just to be different, I'm going to go Tennessee and Derrick Henry rolling along to the Super Bowl against the Niners.
So you could have Patrick Mahomes and Jimmy G, San Francisco and Kansas City, but instead, you who used to work for the NFL want Green Bay, Tennessee?
When you got a guy who can run the ball like Derrick Henry can run the ball, keep the ball away from the Chiefs and you can win the ball game. So let's quickly shift to baseball. And I get the push alert. I get the nature of our business. You got to get out the news. And yes, it was a record. But you get kind of that stunning alert that Mookie Betts signs record deal. Kind of like, didn't really move my needle that much. What do you think?
I think the news out of Mookie and the Red Sox not going to arbitration is just that. It's more than the record deal. It's the fact that they had an agreement. Yeah. It makes you feel that there may be hope behind the scenes. At least they were able to talk and come to an agreement and not go to an arbitrator at this point with all that's ahead of them. What it doesn't mean, which I've seen some people kind of implicate and write and take that to a different level, it doesn't mean the Red Sox still won't trade him, and it doesn't mean that he's not going to free agency now. I think he is going to free agency, and I think the Red Sox are still trying to shop him. I don't think they will, though.
It's an absorbable contract. You know, there are teams out there that can eat $27 million, even if it is just for 1 year. The question is, will a team be willing to give the Red Sox back what they rightfully should demand for a player as talented as Mookie Betts?
No, because Mookie Betts is going to free agency, and you would too, and here's why. $400 million. Someone is going to give him $400 million, Tom. Why wouldn't you? Well, at 28 years old, he'll be 28 next year.
If you're the Dodgers, you're giving him $400 million? If you're the Yankees, you're giving him $400 million?
No, but he's not going to, if he gets traded to a team, he's not going to sign with that team. He's going to free agency.
Interesting. All right, thanks. Be fun watching these games.